Okay, for the instruction right now, I'm not going to have my mask on, and we're not going to actually do the powder. We're going to walk through, but you can see, so I don't have mine on so you can hear me better. Okay, so in terms of the investment, the first step you will do before you get here, you're going to measure out your water with the deionized water. So you'll have your graduated cylinder, you'll take it over there. As soon as you're done, where does this go? Where does the water go? Into your bowl. So your bowl is going to be sitting there mixed, and you can have this, then you hand this off to the next group, okay? So you're going to have your bowl that'll have the measured water ready to go, hand this off to the next person. So when you come up, you have the right amount of water sitting in your bowl, and you have your spoon that's going to be sitting next to it. That can be all done before you actually get into the area. So the first group is going to start, and we're going to start by measuring our investment. The investment, you send 2 people back to the back side of the fume hood. This fume hood is what we call a double access fume hood. There are 2 glass sliding doors to it. So what happens though, the alarm will sound if you have 2 of them up at the same time. So only one can be down. Right now you see that both of them are all the way down. What we're going to do is we're going to do the back side first, and as soon as the back side is done, we're going to close the back side. That's the cue for the front side that you can start using that one to do, okay? So let's go and get the first 2 please started. You guys want to look through the fume hood from that side, and I'll try to speak loud enough so you guys can hear me, okay? So let's go back here, our group, come on back. Okay, so we're going to be working here in the fume hood area, and what we'll do is we'll first go ahead and get it started. And you're going to probably want to come a little bit closer. There we go, so we can see this one. So what we're starting out is the fume hood you're going to hear, it's kind of in the background, so it's a little bit noisy to hear. Temporarily, Stephen, could you turn the blower off right here? There's a switch right there, okay? We're going to turn the blower off just for a second so you're going to have a little bit less noise. The one that says blower, you'll turn that one off, and you can see it's going to come down. Now normally we're going to have the blower on because it's going to take all the powder up there. So the first step we're going to have is you have the balance. The balance, I have some plastic sheets on there, guys, so we're going to try to minimize anything that falls so it's easier to clean up, okay? Make sure we hit our tear button, which is going to say, it says O/T. That's on and tear. We're going to use one of these containers to be able to measure our investment in. We'll put it there. Just remember, we don't want the mass of my container, so we're going to hit that one again. Now when the blower's going, sometimes it's a little bit harder to get it to zero out. If it's plus or minus, this goes down to the hundredths place. We don't care about the hundredths place. If we're plus or minus a gram, you're in good shape. Because when we go to pour it, some's probably going to fall out anyway. Okay? So the way we're going to do the measuring is, you should have one hand, one person's going to verify that we got the right amount. Then, yep, we've got it zeroed out. Then what you'll do is put one hand to open the container, and carefully with the spoon, take your time, you can get it close to the balance here. We're going to scoop it out, and we're going to take it. So this first spoonful is going to go in. I gently put it in like that to try to minimize the puff of air. That was 57 grams. How far do I have to go to?
400.
How many grams? Go to your book. No one knows?
428.
428 grams. Jesus is ready. Good for you. So he's going to keep going till he gets it. When he's done, he's going to carefully put the spoon back on top and just loosely have the lid. So that's ready for the next group. Then you take your amount off, you put it off the balance, you put it to the side. The cue for the side is, can you please bring one of the trays? That tray should be sitting in here. Go ahead, come here. Now what'll happen is, when we lift that door, go ahead and lift it up, you're going to hear the alarm. That tells you you can't do that. So go ahead and close that door. Now that tray should be sitting there ready to go. Now it's ready for the next group. Now we're going to close it on this side, and we'll go back and get ready for the group to get going. We first have to make sure the group ahead of us is done before we're going to get going with that, okay? So the group that's coming in, you're going to come up with your flask and your bowl. So the flask we don't use quite yet, so just put it to the side, on this side, for instance, of the investment table. This part we're going to be here, and we're going to put our tray right next to the investment table. So we technically have 2 stations. What's sitting in our bowl? We got our water going, and now we have the investment, and it's sitting in there. Again, now that we're ready to go, the back side's closed, I'm going to open this side, and I'm ready to go. The goal here, though, is to make sure that we minimize our exposure. So I don't put this all the way up. And when you go to mix the powder, you need to make sure that the timer is ready to go. Because how much time do we have? 7 minutes. By that time, it's going to get really thick. Now, again, this is add that little bit extra water in there. I think we'll be in good shape. What we're going to be using today is a dark room timer that I had from the past because we don't care what happens to it. The way it works is there's an on-off switch, and when it gets to the end, if you hear that, your 7 minutes is up. So hopefully you're done and it's decided by the time that one goes. You turn it to the off position, you move the one that has the little handle, move it back to the 7 minutes, and then as soon as you hit on, you'll see that the second hand is going to sweep. Okay? So that gives you a big dial to be able to see where it's sweeping to. So as soon as you have this ready, you set it. One of your team members, Jesus, it looks like you're on the timer. And this is your on-off switch right there. So you're going to make contact. If you're going to be doing it, as soon as that powder starts, ready, go, and I'm going to mix it in with the water. Because once that chemical reaction starts, it's no going back. So here, we're going to mix it in the fume hood where it's powdery until it's all moist. Once it's moist, the danger is greatly reduced. It's not like you're a splatter, you're not going to inhale the splatter. So then move it out quickly. I'll move it. Someone behind me closes the door, because as I'm mixing, the next group, group 2, can go in the back now and can measure their investment to go through. See how I'm done with the fume hood now? So here, what's going to be happening is I'm going to be stirring around. Make sure you're holding this batter and you're moving it around. You're scraping it all off the bottom. It just until everything's moist. Once everything's moist, it's got a nice smooth consistency. Get all the batter off. And we're ready to go to the investment table for our first degassing. Okay, so you've just gone ahead and knocked off your spoon to get all the investment off. Put your spoon down on the tray. It'll be drippy. We're okay. That's why you have it on the tray. Then what you're going to do is you're going to lift off the dome, put your investment in here on the investment table, and we're going to put the dome back in. The part you need to be careful is make sure you ensure that it's centered from left to right and front to back. This has to be centered so that it creates a vacuum here. So if you want to see real close, the actual vacuum location is right here. That's where the vacuum pump is going to be coming out, so we don't want to place that right on top of it, but we'll be okay. Comes in, make sure it's centered. Now this is the way the vacuum pump works. If you come in closer, you'll see this one is pointing up. Can everyone see that that's pointing up? You've got a little thing that's there. What's it pointing to? What does it say up there?
Vacuum release.
Vacuum release. So that means the pump might be going, but it's not engaging the vacuum. So notice we have this one is the investment table. This one here is what we're going to do when we do the casting table. So when it comes time, we're going to turn the pump on, and then it'll sound, you'll be kind of loud, so you'll have a hard time. Can you hit the power right there? Power's going to go on, you hear it comes on, then we're going to turn it, so go ahead and turn this so that it goes to the investment table. If you see down here, the dial's going to start going down because the pressure is getting lower and lower and lower. We're reducing the atmosphere on top of it. The first time you do it, how long does it go?
90 seconds.
It goes for 90 seconds. In the full 90 seconds, you should watch it because you're going to see some bubbles come up and it comes back down. If you have a thin enough consistency, that should be the case of what happens. Now, after that's done, what you're going to do is we're going to bring it back up here and we're going to go ahead and release it. We release it and then we go ahead and we take the power off. After this dial's come down close to where we started. Once the power comes off, now we're ready to go for it. So we're going to take it off. Now here comes the part where you should have had your flask already in place. We come back here. And this next step, the important part is, you want to back out to make sure we're getting this one, is when your bowl, the bowl is designed to be bent like this so you can pour. So when you go to pour, you're going to want to pour in a way that it doesn't go directly on your rings. But when you pour, you don't want it touching the particular flask. What you'll do is it'll start to go down, if you've ever done batter, and then it's going to get narrower. You'll have more control about this high up. So you're going to go ahead and put the batter up. The investment's going to come all the way to the top. When it reaches just the top, then what you're going to do is leave about that much from the top. I'll try to coach you through when you get close. When you get there, then you go ahead and put this down. This comes back, it goes on the table. We do it one more time. This time though, you have a goal of about 60 seconds, but you don't go the whole distance unless the investment is not overflowing. So when you go ahead and start it again, we power on, we engage the table, someone should have their hand right here ready to nix it off real quickly if it starts to bubble over. Okay? So that's going to be the bubble over part, and then as soon as that goes for the 60 seconds, we'll say, okay, stop. And once we stop, we'll disengage, wait for it to come down in pressure, we power off. Once this comes off, you just gently put this off to the side, and we are ready to wait. Again, it's going to have to wait closer to about 10 minutes or so before you can put your initials there in the top. Okay? What questions can I answer for you? Now when we do this, you're going right away. See, because right now as we're done, they're ready to go. As soon as we get out, you're going to have your bowl and stuff right here. Okay? The next group is ready to go, and we start right away. Here's the thing about cleanup. Let's be really clear. The investment is going to essentially be this sand type concrete stuff. We do not want any of it going down the sink. So what we do is we've got tons of paper towels. You're going to take a paper towel and you're going to wipe all that out and put it right into the trash. Then you'll take a wet paper towel and you'll do it again to get almost all of it out. Once all of that's out, then you can put it under the sink to make sure we get all of it. Before you guys start, I see a little bit of investment here. I would kind of do a quick wipe out again to make sure. And the other one on the spoons, look in these little crooks and crannies to make sure all of that is out before you start, because you don't want any investment in there. Once this is done, you clean it up, you'll go to the next group that's 3 down from you, or you're getting it set up here ready for the next group for next hour. Okay, so be sure you're doing the cleanup, and again, we're going one after the other. Okay? Let's go.